So what we were talking about earlier is, of course, Guy Pearce.
Oh, is this going into spoiler territory now?
Oh yeah, we're spoiling this. We're spoiling it up.
Yeah.
Now, Guy Pearce. You do not hire Guy Pearce for that one viral video. He has to appear in the film, and
he's an amazing actor as well, and you kind of give him, 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. His whole introduction is just it's awful. Like, so basically,
should we go in order of the film? So
okay.
Later on.
Yeah. We'll talk about Guy Pearce.
Okay, so the film kind of starts off where you have these sweeping landscape shots and the music's tense and nice, and I was like, okay, I'm into this.
Yeah.
It's basically this group of scientists who go into these caves and find cave paintings of all these civilizations.
Yeah.
Similar picture of the natives pointing upwards towards the stars. But there is no way that all of these civilizations could have had contact with each other, so this has to be otherworldly.
Yeah. There's also a bit beforehand which involves an engineer, sort of kind, where he drinks this black liquid and then starts to dissolve and falls into the ocean. And
by the way, I so totally didn't buy the look of these engineers. They look like a cross between Voldemort and Kratos from God of War. Just so fake looking. It's just.
I mean, they did look human, but I think they might have looked a bit like, I know they're supposed to be, the DNA and everything is supposed to be.
Oh, we'll get into that later, by the way.
Yeah. But they look almost too human, and I would have liked it that as part of evolution and evolving, that they would have looked slightly different, like more alien, and then we developed from them.
Yeah.
They're looking very, very similar to us, but like taller.
So that black goo that you said that it drank and it kind of dissolved into the water, I'm taking that like, from him dissolving into the water, that was the water that slowly grew bacteria and created us and life on Earth.
Yeah. So it kind of does Darwinism's evolution.
Scientology.
Yeah. It's Scientology and Darwinism mixed.
Yeah. But was this... Yeah, this was like another plot thing that I never... From the get-go, I was like confused when I watched this film. I was like, what the hell? So this black goo, this was the black alien goo that they created as a weapon.
I don't...
And so that drank it and it made it... Why would it drink its own weaponized chemical? I don't get it.
See, it's the whole thing about, like, it's the worst parts of them. They like oil. Oil brings out us in us.
Yeah.
Black goo could be a metaphor for that. But that's kind of debatable.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure why they sort of drank their own sort of weaponized goo for, but
maybe they were just testing it out to see what it actually did.
They didn't know, so they drank it. Why wouldn't you drink a weapon?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'll just drink napalm or something. But this is number one of a myriad of questions that go unanswered by the end of this film. So
yeah,
the first scene, I'm already confused.
Yeah, the first scene. I mean, to be honest, the whole sweeping landscape thing, it was very reminiscent of 2001, A Space Odyssey, and how I felt about 2001: A Space Odyssey was that opening with all the landscapes was very, very boring, desolate, and nothing happened.
But you could argue that is build-up for it, because didn't the first... as I say, I've never seen Alien. I know I'm a heretic, don't crucify me, but... doesn't that film have a lot of build-up at the start that most would consider boring? Just like lots of shots of space and gear and just the ship and everything?
It does, but I think it gives it an interesting... It makes it... It builds tension.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that opening in Alien does, and it builds a lot of tension. Like, you're wondering what's going on, what's this, what does that do, where are we, why are these people in pods, and why is there a cat on a spaceship, and stuff like that. And but here, with the landscape shots, it felt like I was watching 2000 Space Odyssey all over.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the shots at the start were quite nice, and it set the tone for it, I guess.
Yeah.
And it didn't go on for all too long. It's not like a 3-hour landscape shot.
Oh, no, it didn't last 20 minutes like 2001, but it felt like, you know, Braveheart as well, where
I thought that.
It also felt like...
And wasn't this set in Scotland, the first part?
Yeah, it was set in Scotland. But it's I don't know, it just felt 2001-ish. But yeah, so after this guy drinks the black food,
then it goes to the bit I said with the cave and the painting and finding like aliens painted on the caves.
And we get introduced to our two characters, to a husband and wife.
Oh.
And the guy, the actor, I can't remember his name.
I remember his name. What was his name? The guy?
I don't know.
I'm just having a look on Wikipedia. Logan Marshall Green, I think, plays him as Charlie Holloway, apparently, on here.
Oh, that's Holloway. He wasn't good.
No.
But
he was kind of like a stand-in. Oh God, I forgot his name. The one who's Tom Hardy. Sorry. He seemed very like him, but whereas Tom Hardy could act, this guy really couldn't.
He's very wooden, and I think him and Numi Rapace did a far better job than Logan Marshall Green.
They just had no chemistry. He just seemed flat, like he wasn't into it, like he wasn't interested. What was his stake in this? He didn't...
Yeah. And then after... So you get that. You get the bit where they look at the paintings and go, ooh, stuff we don't know about. Like, the audience don't know what they're looking for, what they're doing there. Which is explained why later on, and then you just the sharpest cut you've ever seen just click. You're on Prometheus in space. It's so.
Don't they have that board meeting first, or is this while they're in space?
That's while they're in space. Because then you get.
It would be before, because as they're like briefing each other on the mission before they go into space, surely.
No.
This was on space as they were on the journey.
Yeah.
So they got all these guys signed up on, I think they said, $1 trillion expedition into outer space, giving them no knowledge until they were halfway through the journey.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's explained that some of these people are there just because they need money. And I mean, would you not go on $1 trillion expedition into outer space?
No, but I just think in the year, what is it, 2093, I want to say?
Yeah.
Somewhere around that time, just no one asked, just like, oh, do you want to come on an expedition? Yeah, sure. You know.
But yeah, so you just jarringly cut to Prometheus into that. No law.
It's very nice visuals, by the way.
The ship looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But you don't get like you said, a meeting beforehand. Instead, David, he was very good, and he did. It did seem like he was because he was learning new languages and new.
He was a very enigmatic, mysterious. Well, he's an android. He has no human emotion, and he's trying to learn human emotion. through
that's
everything.
That's something I want to bring up. Before we go any further, he's supposed to have no emotion.
Yeah.
Yet he is the most emotional person on board that ship. He is the most human out of all of them, and everyone keeps telling him and telling everyone else that he has no emotion.
Well, he's human because he asks questions about situations. It's just like all the other characters just seem like they're in it for the ride and just don't have very good writing. But David has so much good writing that he's the only one that the audience connect to and therefore appears more human.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how I saw it anyway, to be honest. But
I just saw it as, okay, so for me to believe that he's an android, you have to show me that he literally is learning he's learning these things. It felt like he was human from the start, and I don't know. I had a problem with him, with everyone saying he has no emotion when you can clearly see him having some sort of emotion there.
Do you think he should have been like Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Terminator or something? Just no emotion.
Yeah, maybe cast Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film, because then you'll get that performance. Terminator going... That would have made an interesting film altogether. Terminator fighting the engineers. You know, that's a film in itself. But then you get everyone waking up, and they all have the briefing, and everyone's like... You get this sort of... This mohawk, like...
Oh.
Stupid, like, geologist who's interested in rocks. Sort of like the punkest, most whitest guy you've ever seen. And he's supposed to... You cannot take this person seriously as a scientist. The guy's name is Fifield. And he's just... I'm sorry, but I do not buy this guy is a scientist. He does not talk like a scientist. He does not look like a scientist. I mean, I can understand people have, like... I can understand scientists have their own dress code and things, but, you know, to have this guy look like someone out of the Sex Pistols or someone out of a really bad punk rock band is just not on. I cannot buy it. I can't get over the fact that this guy is an actual scientist, and he's such... a dick. He is the biggest dick in the film.
Well, hang on. You just know the reason that all these people are here. Just as soon as you see them all sitting in the boardroom, you're like, these people are all lined up for the meat grinder.
Oh yeah, you know that straight away. You can
no connection or anything to the characters. It's just, yeah, when do we see these guys?
Yeah, that's the. I mean, you've also got that. Who is it? The other guy who is like.
Jokey guy. The guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know his name.
These two have some sort of, you know, chemistry. The Fifield character, like, doesn't want to make friends for some reason, even though he's in the arse end of space. And
because he's the tough guy, and he has to be on his own.
He's a tough guy, yet he has a very, very emotional breakdown over rocks. Like, there's a scene coming up in which they find a dead engineer, and
oh, we'll come up. Shall we come up to that later? Or we...
Yeah. We'll come up to that and keep going. So you get him.
Mind for later.